Like the title says, this video is going to be all about my top choices in 2024 for applications and tools that help me manage both ADHD, autism, and in general might help the neurodivergent. Maybe something in this video will be new to you, maybe you'll want to check something out, and maybe you'll just find something interesting about the way that I do things. Either way, I hope you find something useful, and let's get into it. Application number one is something that many of you, having followed my channel from the early days when I was on Linux, might be familiar with. It's something that I've played with in the past and didn't really jive well with, but I just checked it out again recently, like a couple weeks ago, and I've been messing with it, and I've been finding it to be incredibly valuable because if you've been interacting with me online, so it be a social media at all in any capacity, you probably have found out that I'm pretty horrible with email. It piles up quickly and then it becomes intimidating to tackle this mountain of email, and it's hard to prioritize what things are important, what isn't. Sorting through stuff, newsletters, coupon stuff from companies, just note all these notices of data breaches, just like the emails are endless. They're endless. So Thunderbird, Mozilla Thunderbird is something that I have just started playing with recently, and I want to tell you about how much I'm enjoying this and why I think it could be very helpful for you. So this is what Thunderbird looks like. It's a desktop email client that you can add all of your email addresses to and manage all your email for all of those accounts in one place using sets of common things, common tags, folders, rules, it's awesome because I can manage everything easily with in one place, and there are also add-ons, extensions, all kinds of stuff you can search for to do all the things that you want to do. But ultimately, what I really liked about this and what really drove me to use this is at work, it's Microsoft, and Outlook has rules. You get lots of emails, notifications, just stuff that you don't need to care about in the moment. So if it's like newsletters or notifications or just coupon stuff, you could just shuttle all that stuff to different folders and look at it when you care to, versus having your actual main inbox clogged up with all that stuff and important things getting lost. Or if it's like semi-important things that you are going to need to eventually respond to quickly or review quickly, but it's not like priority urgent and it's something that occurs commonly, you can send that to a folder and review that in a more timely manner or a high priority tag, and leave your inbox for the actual important stuff or things that you don't have logic set up for, so that you know it, okay, I haven't encountered this before. And that's basically been my approach. So I'm gonna have to actually blur out a lot of stuff in this program just because I have a lot of it's all my personal things as well as some business stuff, so bear with that. But from what I'm willing to show, it's great. So in the left-hand panel, I am gonna blur out my emails, but there are things, and this isn't even everything, I'm still exploring, so it's just awesome. I have tags and I've defined tags, I have these P for priority tags, things I need to respond to in order of priority, so lower priorities, I don't need to get around to it very quickly. It's just a way of triaging things in a way where I know and can better actually process what is the high priority things that I need to get on top of and tackle soon, because I struggle with actually prioritizing things that are important. And I don't want things to get lost in the shuffle and disappear, so this is a way of just tag it, get it out of my inbox, and I know I won't forget about it because it's gonna be under this tag where it's just like another inbox. That's how all these things are treated. Ways of triaging different finances for categories, I have my joint business and personal finances across different email accounts, so this way I can just tag all the things and they're all grouped there. Business specific for things that I need to take action on in business. Just the tags are really handy, and it's a way of replacing a lot of the Gmail star label stuff that it just isn't jiving very well. I really like the tags in Thunderbird. What I also like is these, you can do favorite folders. I just haven't found a strong use for it personally. So an example would be I have a newsletter which is just my Reddit digest that I do like to review the stories that are just suggested to me, and then I can just open ones that are relevant if I don't already have the subreddit added to an RSS feed reader. But I could add favorite folders, and if I have favorite folders across different email addresses, it shows like this breakdown view of email and then the location ultimately to where that folder is for that email account. So this lets me just look at what are my favorite things that might be here. I don't really use this too much because I don't need more noise, I need less noise. But one of the cool things is these unified views. So what I really find interesting about how this works and why I really enjoy it is, yeah, a lot of email can be paralyzing. I don't like all my email, one inbox, all my accounts, everything in one place. But it gives you the option, if you like that. If you set up enough automations and you don't have death by email avalanche like I tend to get, then maybe the unified view is an easier way of managing everything, because then you just have all the priority things from all the email accounts, and everything that's not priority you have logic set up for. The rules and filters just move everything away and filter everything. Maybe you might jive with that, but it's also unified: drafts, sent, archives, junk, trash, whatever. And if you need to actually get into the individual folders for an email account, you can do that by expanding the folder for whatever email account you want to view. And this is equivalently to the like Gmail labels, but again, I don't really care for the Gmail labels. This is just, in my opinion, a better way of doing it, and it sorts things into actual folders in your email accounts, which you can create and do everything here because you set it up. And this may be a little bit more nerdy than I need to, but with IMAP and SMTP settings, you can easily set up all of this so it backflows to your email accounts, no problem. And that sounds like it's really a complex setup. It's not. There's easy import stuff. It's super not a big deal. But with that, one of the things that literally the bread and butter of why I use this so heavily now and why I'm really enjoying it is stuff like this. So I have this email from PayPal that, I paid my subscription for an application. I'm going to blur it out because I don't want potentially sensitive information, but like really what I care about is I can hover this over this email name, like who sent it to me, and it says, okay, service@paypal.com. Create filter for sender. This is what I love, because I can say, like in the way that I've been doing things, finance, and it's going to be PayPal, and then I can look at the rule, which, okay, apply filter manually when I run it, or whenever I get new emails. That's the cool thing. But you can also just have them running in general, like every 10 minutes after sending something, whatever. Like there's a lot of possibilities you can do with the automation here. But matching all of the following, any, match all messages, whatever. So from this email address, which is one of the common rules I've been doing, move the messages to my email account, and I'm going to put that into receipts, business receipts, and then I'm also going to add a tag, which is my business finances tag, because I print receipts and keep copies of every receipt thing for accounting and whatever. And then, okay, cool. Now, this little pop-up also shows up and then shows me what my rules are, and then I can click Run Now to manually run that rule. And you saw, hey, it tagged it, it turned red, and then it filed it into the folder. So I don't need to have this up, but now whenever I get new emails from, was it service or support at paypal.com, they will go to that folder, get tagged with that thing, and now it's never going to hit my inbox again. I'll never see those in my inbox. They will be in the folder where I expect to pick them up and do other processes with when I get around to it, but my inbox will no longer have the noise from those emails anymore. And to me, that is one of the most valuable things, because now I get less and less and progressively less overwhelm with email, because the minute I make a new rule for something, I no longer ever have to worry about that thing. And in just setting up this process personally, I also had the benefit of like, okay, I don't really care about filing this with a rule or anything because I never look at these anyways. Why am I even subscribed? Unsubscribe. So I also just unsubscribed from a bunch of stuff. And ultimately, why I started looking at Thunderbird again was honestly a video from Brody Robertson, because I still follow his channel for the Linux stuff, and he was talking about Thunderbird, and I'm like, I haven't checked that out in a while. Checked it out, and here I am. It is one of definitely one of my top picks for this year for ADHD friendly tools, just because of the sheer volume of email I get in different accounts for different reasons. Really makes it a lot less painful to deal with email. So hopefully I'll be a little bit more timely in responding to anybody's emails to me, because I am notoriously bad with email. So hopefully this will help me be better. And last sidebar is that, like, if you want to manage your calendar stuff, tasks, or even like chatting applications, if you use open source chat applications, Thunderbird can do it all. There's an address book that automatically imports your addresses from your email accounts. There is a calendar, but I use Morgen. But if you wanted to use your calendar inside of Thunderbird, it can marry up all the calendars from all your applications. And the only thing is, I don't find it as easy and intuitive to use as Morgen, or maybe I just prefer the Morgen paradigm, but more on that later. There is task management. Again, I use Todoist, dedicated applications for some of these things, but if you wanted an all-in-one thing, Thunderbird could do it all. And there are also extensions. And also what's really cool is once you connect all of your calendars to Thunderbird, I have it blurred out because private stuff, but on the right-hand panel, I have like my itinerary and schedule for whatever the current day is, so I can see what's going on today, and I can also schedule tasks just like you can in Morgen, though I find it a little bit more tedious in this way. But all of these things are available, and it's only the tip of the iceberg. There's so much you can do. There's searches, there's better tag management, there's folder settings that you can cascade and set up for all of your settings in one. Like, it's nuts. I think Thunderbird is definitely warranted as one of my top picks this year, and if you've used it before, I want to know what you think about it. And now, actually, today's sponsor, xTiles. So xTiles is an incredible tool for ADHD or the neurodiverse because of visual thinking, and the way that information is organized is something that I care a lot about, because I'm very visual. And sometimes, like I've talked about before, with digital systems, it's a little bit harder than, say, I've talked a lot about Zettelkasten. And having all your information laid out, visible, top level, no depth, just top level organization, and sometimes the simplicity of that, but also seeing everything at once to see patterns and connections, a lot of that is facilitated by this application that is like a marrying of a stripped down, simplified version of Notion and Miro. Yeah, the diagramming tool. So let's check out xTiles. I think you might like this. Now, I know Notion is what all these productivity, aesthetic, social media influencers are always talking about. I've tried Notion. Personally, I don't care for it. It's, as many people say, it is overly complex with how it tries to like set up databases and the functions and stuff. And like, I do programming. Like, I've built my own databases. I've done database setup programming, like Snowflake, star schema. Like, I've done a lot with SQL in my time. And I still find Notion to be more complex than what it needs to be for an end user application, even when it comes to like organizing information in like collection or database type stuff. I think it's unnecessarily complex. Not to mention, you put enough information in there, and not even a lot, and it starts to run very slowly. And yeah, it's just not what I care for. So xTiles, in comparison, is simpler, but still has the capability that you'd expect when it comes to organizing like collections of information in a quote-unquote database-ish like format. We'll get more into that later. But as for how everything is organized in xTiles, we start off at the top at most level with workspaces. So you could have all different kinds of workspaces. If you work in several different collaborative teams, you share something with somebody like a friend, or say you have like, shared projects with, your partner and your significant other, what you're going to do, a wedding planner, a trip planner, whatever, like all these different templates up here. Yeah, there's templates. You could have all these different workspaces. Each workspace could have any number of projects. Inside of a given project, you could have any number of pages. And inside those pages, there are cards and other different, little modules that you can change at will, whether it's just textual content, embedded graphics, media, what have you. There's a whole laundry list of features, And we'll go over some of them. I mean, there's a lot, and we don't want to spend too much time, but there is an easy way of organizing all of this stuff and surfacing the most critical and time-sensitive things easily across everything that you do for a holistic and comprehensive view of what you need to be paying attention to. And for those that have trouble with attention regulation, this could be a godsend across all aspects of your life if you're managing it in this common application. Inside of xTiles, you have these creative pages, which are like canvases or like things like bullet journals, whatever you can put in here. Like these are all just pieces on this like canvas. You see like the dots over here in the background, maybe you can't. And ultimately, this freestyle canvas is completely configurable. Like all of these, this is just a template that I applied. Like I can say new creative page and pick one of these templates. I chose daily planner, and it just populates it with all this stuff because you can use templates to just easily create this. Create your own templates and then bam, you have new stuff. And what you can do is completely freeform change these things, like drag that up, move this over. Like you can change this at will because it's just a freeform canvas, just like Miro. But what you can also do is different types of content, such as, oh, what are my goals and priorities? What are my tasks? Do the thing. And what I can do with this task is that now that this is an actual to-do item, I can not only schedule it for, say, tomorrow, awesome, is that you can also add these different tasks to a, say, collection. And this isn't just tasks, like this is any object, item, even a whole card you can add to collections. But let's add to a collection. I made one already, called it in a table, so add to the table collection, just like that. So if you have, say, like a vision board, we have lots of different media files or things for trips, like you can just file these under collections and then go to the other type of page in xTiles, which is collection type pages. So now I have this table view, which is a view of a collection, but this collection is just tabular data here. But here's the item we just added, do the thing. Expand that, and now it can give me more information about this task, and anything in this collection is now viewable here. If I want to create a new collection, I can say new page, which actually, let's delete something because I haven't upgraded this account yet. But create a new page, create a new collection, and what are the types? Galleries, boards like Kanban boards, calendars, or timeline. Now, so you can see that some of these are plus features, and we'll go over like what pricing is later, but check out what you can do with these collections is that now this task is added to this table, and I can even add new different fields for this particular item. And let's say date, create. And now this did have a date on that collection item that I did assign it to, which flows into a different category. So you can see it's set to August 9th. But when I go to that table collection and view that task, it's not populating there, which is interesting. But ultimately, this is all tabular data for any item, and you can add any item to that collection. So even if it's a whole card, like let's just add this whole priorities thing, add to collection, add it to the table, and it doesn't matter that that was a task. This is a whole card. It doesn't matter. You can add it to the collection at will. And there's no ambiguity. There's no, what do I need? Do I need to set up all this stuff, functions, tables, database stuff? No, it's added to the collection now. You can add additional metadata. You can reference these collections and other collections, and it's just a collection of stuff. I've said collection like 1,000 times already. And the last and like third type of page is just a document page, which is exactly like the stuff you might be familiar with in Notion. Grab a title, add content, and you can just add whatever you want here. And you could add this to a collection if you wanted to. Doesn't matter. And you probably already saw this, but you can also create page groups. So you got workspaces down to projects, down to pages that could also be grouped. Things could be added to collections. And that's several levels of potential depth. But ultimately, whatever you do in these pages, whether you add it to a collection, give it a date, have tasks, there are some really beneficial features in xTiles that make it so you could have a universal view and universal management of everything that's important and time sensitive inside of this paradigm. So let's say you have tons of projects across several workspaces, stuff for business, for work, for personal life. You have a project just for, like, say, your wedding or maybe an international trip. You have all that stuff going on. How do you make sure you're easily managing and not getting overwhelmed overstimulated with all the tasks that you need to do, all of the scheduling that you need to do. What if your tasks are scheduled and they're time sensitive? How do you manage all that stuff when you have dozens potentially of projects and any number of pages? How do you find it all? Because I went to this page and this page had some tasks, but what if I have groups of pages and tasks and collections and several projects? Already you're like, no way. How can you possibly manage all that? Well, in xTiles, there are these universal groupings and views of the important things. So right here, this is in any project I have. So I can go to tasks, and this is all the tasks that I've actually created in this particular project. Now, if I went to another page or went to another project, I'm not going to go to another project, but it's the same thing. But if I went to any other page here, add a task, hello from another page, I add that, and I'm going to give that a scheduled date of the 23rd, whatever, and I go back to tasks, it shows me all of the tasks that I have in this project, in this workspace, anything, and it also, because they have dates assigned to them, it will organize them by dates. This is incredibly useful. So if you connect your calendars to xTiles, which you could also do it with Thunderbird, so you could have, if you don't want to use Morgen, you use Morgen, connecting all of your calendars to all these applications so everything is synchronized across all the services. You could have all of your calendars either in Thunderbird, have them in Morgen, have them connected to xTiles, because what happens in xTiles, you saw that I gave those tasks due dates, or when I'm going to finish them by, like the 19th, or on the other page, the 23rd. If I go to this calendar, it is a universal view, so here's the 19th, here's the 23rd, and this is those tasks. So I could easily expand these, look at the details, but I could see a list of everything I need to do on a particular day. And in this way, you have a universal view of everything that you need to pay attention to in one place. You could also create new tasks on this calendar. And you might be thinking, wow, is that just for this project? No, this is for every project in every workspace. Everything all the time. Maybe that might be a little bit, too much information. Maybe not. But having everything in one place, just so you know what you have up on deck at any given time across every paradigm of your life, could be the way to seamlessly manage everything simultaneously without running around trying to look at every individual piece of information, keep it collated, and then actionably do what you need to do on them. In these ways, the universal views make it incredibly useful and handy to be on top of what you actually need to be doing at the actual time you need to be doing it. And when it comes to assigned tasks, you could say that tasks are scheduled in a particular, workspace, say like work or business, and you want to see like what things are actually assigned to you. This is another way of doing it. So overall, I think the universal views of these, different pieces of information are one of the most powerful features in xTiles to easily manage everything across every aspect of your life in one paradigm. Getting a little excitable here, but there are just so many cool features. Also, it's useful is you have this inbox, so you can also use this with a web clipper because there is a mobile app for xTiles, so it all works and it all connects. So you can do this all on the go as well. On the go, check out what my tasks and the calendar items are for today, quickly web clip something, grab it here. You could set up notifications, have that. And also, one of the things that I always check for, well, two things, there is in fact a dark mode, and this would definitely be what I would use, but I know it's kind of harder to see online when I have dark mode on, so I'll change it back to light. I'm always in dark mode, period, so the fact that it has that, excellent. And what is also really important to me, because it's just close to my heart, is plain text interoperability. So if I go to the ellipsis here for project settings, I can export this page, this project, to PDF, image, or Markdown. And in talking to the xTiles team, the exporting of collections is going to soon have support for exporting to CSV. And that's really awesome because the interoperability of plain text files makes it so that you're not tied to a system, or even if it's not about companies trying to retain your data so that you don't easily migrate and move away from them, it's also just useful for those of us who want to, say, build upon and expand what we can do with the information in a given application. So if I want to export something and then use that as an import into another completely different but adjacent service so that I could have the power of both, or whatever I might want to do, I have the ability and the freedom to do that. And also you can import from Markdown. So if you have pages or items in, say, Obsidian or other plain text applications, you can also import those things. So also importing from CSV, also possible soon. So that way you could just add to your collections that way. Lots of really great work going on there with the plain text interoperability. Love it, love to see it. So that's my brief demo of xTiles. There's a lot here. There's different types of content. You can embed YouTube videos. You could add those video embeds to a collection. So if you wanted to have like a Zettelkasten input management system, you could totally do that. Just as a brief example of what that might look like, I could add an embed, and then I could say YouTube. That's not really a great YouTube video there. No, that's not even a YouTube link. There we go. Add a YouTube video. And then we could take this YouTube video and we could add this to a collection. Say it could be like inputs or things to read, things to watch. It could be for articles, for videos, whatever. And it might need some additional help with the metadata, but we could work on that. But in a collection, you can add the item, flesh out the metadata, and now you have potentially a Zettelkasten system inside of xTiles. And maybe importing, exporting via Obsidian to CSV files, importing that when the functionality gets there is an easy way of really testing this out and putting it through its paces to see if it can actually stand up and do the job as your Zettelkasten. So check out xTiles. And for my last pick of top apps in 2024 is a repeat, and it's going to be Morgen. I still use Morgen every day as my calendar app of choice. The integrations just keep getting better. The team is constantly pushing out new features, and it still serves as an awesome centralized source of calendar management across all of my accounts and everything I have going on. So let's check out again, at least I'll keep it briefer this time, how I'm using Morgen and why it is so awesome. So again, you could have all of your calendars all grouped into one place. You could have different views of your time frame. You could have week, and these items are done with hotkeys, so you can easily change what your view is of a given time frame. I could do a day, I could do a week, I could do 2 weeks, either way, and it's all done with simple hotkeys and no clicks. Hands on keyboard is more efficient. What I also like is that with all of your different calendars, you could see the different numbers. What it lets you do is group them so you can change the views of what you have with your calendars. If I want to switch to my purely informational view, I can hit 0. There's just this informational event. I could hit 1, and that shows me a couple other calendars. And at 2, and there's a different set of calendars. And in that way, that easily lets me change the view of that time frame according to different contexts. Say I only want to see stuff related to business, stuff only related to work, stuff only related to personal life, stuff only related to tasks. I could have those individual views set up and manage that all through Morgen. It centralizes all event management across all calendars and all accounts in one place. And they have that Todoist integration, so I can easily drag and drop tasks onto this calendar and check out what I need to do. Now a task is scheduled, and now I can easily schedule these tasks and then use time blocking on my task management through Todoist, because that's what I do. There are also purely inside Morgen tasks, but if you want to integrate Todoist and still use Todoist for your to-do management, that is still possible. And it's freaking great because you can just take your tasks, plop them into Morgen, bam, it's all there. And if you connect this to Thunderbird or xTiles, it all flows and it's all part of a cohesive system. And there's more. There's the scheduling links. There's booking pages where you could also connect video hosting services to Morgen. It's not quite like Calendly, but it's close. So you could easily do all of that stuff and manage all of your things when it comes to scheduling, video call appointments, calendars, tasks, time blocking. It's still a powerhouse application that I use daily. Literally daily, every single day. I have Morgen up, I'm using it, and I still think it's incredibly useful. I pay for it because I think it's useful. So hopefully you found this video informative, helpful. Hopefully you took something away from this. If you found anything really incredible that you want to tell me about, if you have some thoughts, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think, and what are your top apps for 2024? On that note, I'll catch you all in the next one.